Okay, good afternoon all. Hey, how you doing, buddy? How'd you get on yesterday? You have a good day? Ay. Right, let's see how we get on today. I've just got a horrible feeling we're going to do the same as we did yesterday, sideways. I did have that first. Let's have a look. I've had that. I think I had it there originally, didn't I? Hey, stop onto exponential. How you doing, guys? So far, I had it like that. We touched once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times along there. And I had that there as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times there as well. It looked like a quick pop out the bottom and maybe a pop out the top. Harminder, how you doing, bud? Hopefully better than yesterday. You didn't have a good day yesterday. It happens, mate, it happens. Do you know, one thing I'm very aware of now, and I keep it in mind, that it doesn't matter what happens in a day, it's what happens over a period of time. You know, as traders, you always sort of get a bit frustrated when you have a losing trade or indeed a losing day. But, you know, the best of the best out there have losing days. You know, it's part and parcel of it, isn't it? But it's still hard to. I don't like take. Well, does anybody like? Yeah, it's just something you've got to come to terms with, isn't it? And I think if you treat every day at a time, you know, take it one step at a time and set out your plan for the day, whether you jot it down on a piece of paper or notes or whatever, and just say what you're going to do today. I'm going to sit here, take 1, 2, 3 trades if I'm lucky, and regardless of what happens at the end of the day, whether I'm winning or whether I'm losing, I walk away, and that's my day done. And if you do that over a period of time, obviously, we expect to. Well, you should be profitable. The only reason we're not profitable, then it just means your skills aren't up to scratch, and it's just going to take a little bit longer. And Tucker said Goldman Sachs has about a losing day in 5. Well, Goldman Sachs, you're talking some of the best traders on the face of the planet. A losing day in 5. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Okay, there's a little second entry there. Second entry long. I'm leaving this because it's a bit congested and I'm a little bit unsure what you're doing. I'm glad you said that, What actually. That's something to think about, that is. 1 losing day in 5. Yeah, that's losing day. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, in 5 days, I only think I've had 1 losing one. So when you think about it, you know, we're doing pretty well. So that's important to know that. So even the best financial, you know, these financial setups in the world, you know, still have losing days. It's part and parcel of it. But I suppose it's how you deal with it. It's always the tough one, isn't it? We cannot possibly expect to only have it. Absolutely, yeah. It's weird, isn't it? It's sort of like life and death, really, isn't it? You know, we all live and every single person dies, but we never quite get used to it, do we? We never quite, you know, it's always weird, it's odd, it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel natural. But yeah, it's completely part of life. But it's something we, you know, but I suppose that's what makes traders last longer, that eventually can accept it. So I think it's putting some sort of plan in motion. You know, what am I going to do next time I have a loss? How am I going to deal with it? Let's maybe not embrace it. Well, some people say embrace it, but let's say, okay, this is part of it, you know, and try and sort of, I don't say enjoy the process, but try and, you know, sort of experience it if in a way. It's tough, isn't it? Really, it's a tough thing to think about and to plan, really. But I think it's, you know, it is part of it, and. But A guy I chat to now, I've not chatted with him for a while actually. Nick Sesto said, all a loss is a business expense. It's exactly what it is. If you're a business, if you're a builder and your van breaks down or something, you've got to pay $2,000, to have the engine rebuilt. You don't start shaking and blow your business up, do you? Sometimes if you're in business and you're using vehicles, you're using this, God, it's non-stop payouts, isn't it? And what do you do when that happens? We just sign the check and get on with it, don't we? So this is the same thing, really. But it's trying to adapt or adopt, that way of thinking. So anyway, okay. So what's going on here? We seem to have some form of a channel. I'm not a massive fan of that channel, actually. It may even be a bit of a spiking channel. I'm not sure, really. We've got a leg and a leg down, and we're retesting this. So let's have a look. Leg and leg. There is a possibility of a two-tiered channel there. I'm not quite sure how. Let's have a look. Possibly something along those lines. I don't know, it's a bit early, but there's a leg and a leg. Let's see what happens here. If this just comes down, then I'll bin it, but only winners would be nice. They certainly would, mate, wouldn't they? They certainly would. Two great high lows there. I missed them both there. Yeah, I didn't come on. I've not been here long, actually. Okay, so we've got a leg down and a leg down. So that's a good start. Let's see what happens. Chris, how you doing, pal? How you doing, Chris? Quick question. I don't think that was you. Chris, was that you who sent me your chart yesterday? Chris 992. Your chart with the red down the side. It was. Okay, quick question, mate. How the hell do you get the red down the side? I've been trying for the last 10 minutes. I can't seem to figure it out. But it brightens the chart up a bit, doesn't it? It's a bit boring. I can't figure out the hell you did it. Or the hell you did it. All I can say is, mate, you got a gift. Okay, let's have a look at this. I don't know what's going on here at the moment. I'm not sure what to do here. Let me have a look. This may just be a... I did it a long time ago. You've forgotten, haven't you? I've been trying to right-click in the box at the side and see something, or right-click. Because if you right-click on the screen like this and go into properties, usually it's in there something, but it says background colours. Something, but I can't see where it says anything on the side, so... but yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes I've been asked in the past, how did you do that? And I'm like, I did it a year and a half ago, I can't remember. But if you think, mate, let me know. Or pop a quick, open the box and show it, and then maybe pop something in the... a picture or something in the Discord or something like that. Cheers, buddy. Okay, we've got a channel coming down here. I'm going to get rid of this at the minute. There is something up there, but it's turning here. So at the moment, I'm just going to say we're sideways. I think it's fair to say we probably are. Yeah, it's just a bit boring black. But when I saw your picture, I blew it up actually, and I thought, yeah, I like that. It looks a lot more brighter, doesn't it? It's quite dull down the side. I have to tilt my screen around a little bit. Medium impact news at 10. Yeah, it doesn't usually do much in all fairness. But it's all right to be aware of it. FOMC, and Paul Waller speaks. I'm assuming he's not that important by the fact he's been demoted down to medium impact news. Medium impact news. So okay, so let's see if we can get a break here. So I'm fair to say there's a channel running there. I'm happy about that. Mine's only red. When it was set to sim, it goes grey on light. Oh, I see. Okay, I got you. Perhaps it's just what it is. Yeah, because it does go grey on a sim, doesn't it? Yeah, okay, mate, fair enough. You would have thought you'd have been able to change it, though, wouldn't you? But I don't know, maybe you can somewhere. Sometimes you've got to root around for these things, haven't you? So, what's going on here? I'll have a route around later. I'm going to change this over so we have these two sections because it helps with the overnight highs and lows, doesn't it? So let's just put that there for now. It was Mac that showed me how to do it, but I'm still trying to remember. Yeah, I'll have a route around later. Give me something to do tonight. When the wife asked me to wash up, I'll say, yeah, right, I've got something to do. I just remembered. So, yeah, maybe something like that. I'm not even convinced that, actually. It's probably just this small channel there. That looks a bit better. Yeah, this, it just looks a bit messy, but that looks better. Leg, break. A few pushes up to a new eye. Yeah, so I was fiddling around trying to make that work, and in all fairness, I don't think it does. I think that's probably better. Just fit in one push-up, second push-up, break. Lance, question about Replicanto. I'm trading 4 PA accounts. If I take one contract, will it be divided between 4 accounts? Or will it be one contract? Yeah, one contract per account, mate. You can't divide contracts. I wish you did. I wish you could. Because I'd like to divide 4 contracts into 2 contracts into 4, so I could maybe scalp 3 quarters of them and the other quarter. I wish there was some way of doing that. I can't see why there isn't a way, but no, not that I'm aware of, mate. Not that I'm aware of. See, I've got a. If I drag, no, there isn't. See, at the moment, I've got this PA account here, and I've also got an evaluation, which I'm doing. So if I drag mine in here, I've got pre-allocated at the moment. So I've got one contract trading on my evaluation, and I've got this set to pre-allocated, so I can select what I want individually, and I'm trading 3 contracts on the evaluation I've got. So I'm unaware of any way to do it. It'd be nice if someone could come up with that way, because that would be really useful. Because if you can only afford to trade 1 or 2 contracts, the only other way of splitting them up is to go into micros. Trouble is, the micros chart changes a bit because there's not enough volume going through it, and obviously the fees are a lot higher as well. So if you could split contracts, that would be really useful. Be a great way to, have a runner when you're only trading, 1 or 2 contracts. I've posted in the Discord. Let's have a look. Here's a link to it that shows you how to do it. Excellent. Background. Brilliant. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Thank you. Sure. Thank you very much. But yeah, it'd be really useful. That I'm surprised, because I know if you're trading let's say you're trading currency. I traded a little bit of currency with a MetaTrader 4, and you can literally have orders and you can split them up, take profit 1 here, take profit 2 here, and it's like runners. And you can say, I want X amount on that first one, a smaller amount on there, and a smaller amount on there. So you can divide it up like that. But I'm unaware. There may be a way. I'm unaware of it though. But yeah, it would basically effectively split up contracts, wouldn't it? It'd be useful if there was a way, because that would really, if you trade in 1 contract, you could split it into 4 and have 3 parts to a scalp and the 1 part. What is it at the moment? It's so it's $50 for a. I like that. It's only a first entry. But I like it. Unfortunately, it's a big ass bar, so I'm just going to sit tight on this one. But I like it. See if we can get a lower high up here. I wouldn't be surprised if that came down though, because it's so bearish. But it is only a first entry, unfortunately. Well, you can class that as a first push-up, can't you? But I always like to just wait, just in case. If I did 4 contracts, it wouldn't be 1 contract on each account. No, what you do is you have a lead account. So my lead account is my P account, and I trade 1 contract. And then you can trade whatever you want individually on the others. Do you know what I mean? So you can have exact quantity, so they're all the same, equal quantity. I'm not sure what these are, ratio, so you can have it like 2 to 1. And then obviously I've got mine set up pre-allocated. So then I've typed in I want 3 contracts on the evaluation, and obviously whatever I've got it set in my box on the right up here as just 1 contract.
Order submitted.
Okay, possible lower high here. Yeah, anytime, Clay. No problem, mate. Oh, we're going to get lucky here. Don't think this wants to come down, does it? That's a shame. That would have been really nice, actually. Ticked above there and closed down here, giving us a couple of points, possibly more.
Order cancelled.
I have a feeling. It's just trying to find an area where this is likely to come down. Trouble is, I don't want to assume this is the bottom and wait for this to pull down. I'd rather get out before, I think. But this has got other ideas, I think. If I've done that at the top. So on this. Got to break out here and on this side. Trouble is, I think it's probably safer. If you're going long into these highs, I think it's probably safer to have the top of this as low as you can. Hence, get out early rather than wait for these highs. See at the bottom, we got multiple touches there. If I take it down there, it's just 1. So I don't want to assume that if I'm going to take this short, I want to wait and get out here. I'd rather keep this nice and high. So keep in mind, guys, if you're after evaluations, the 90% off finishes midnight tonight Eastern time. My code's down the bottom as usual. If you use it or you have used it, it's much appreciated. But it finishes midnight tonight. Okay, so we've had this channel down there. 1 push up, 2 push up. Let's have a look. We're clearly ranging. I tried the flatten option on Apex website this morning. All it did was close the orders and then immediately reopen them. It seems very dodgy. Oh, God, bloody Bennett. That's all we need is more problems. Have you lost money, mate, or not? See, what you've got to do, so okay, so we've got leg up, 1 leg, 2 legs. Let's see what's going on here. You haven't, okay. Remember what I mentioned last week about recording on OBS? Now, it is possible, I'm assuming, that maybe a couple of people or a few people might have problems with it. They seem to do something when a lot of people have problems. They seem to reset everyone's count. But I have heard the odd person say this happened and that happened, and they said there's nothing they can do. So they seem to help when there's a lot of people. So I still, I mean, obviously I record it myself because mine's on a live stream, but I still think it's a useful thing, considering OBS is free, to record your own. That way, if you do get any problems and you can visually see what went wrong, you've got a bit of power then, see? Then you can come to me and say, look, Apex won't do nothing. Will you post something? In which case I will, if I think it's valid and I think someone's been dished out. And obviously, Apex don't want people like me posting stuff like that. I'm guessing, obviously, because, quite a few people watch this. So, but, you've got to look after yourself. So I think it's useful. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've not had no problems with Apex. Obviously, I use them. I think they're a good company. But I have heard a couple of people saying, I generally had problems and Apex, didn't do nothing about it. And I think it's frustrating if that's the case because, if something is going wrong with a piece of software that they, say you have to use as part of their package, then I think they've got to support it. It might not be theirs, but it's, part of the deal. So first and foremost, I think it's useful if you record. You don't need to record it for a day, and then if you have no problems, just delete it. But it's useful, and you can look back on it as well if you missed something or something happened and figure out what went wrong. Sometimes I've made mistakes in the past and I couldn't figure out what the hell I've done. But if you've got the ability to look back, I think it's useful. And OBS is free as well. So, okay, so we've got a leg down, 1 push up, 2 pushes up. It's a bit choppy and a bit confusing, but I'd say the way this is struggling to get up, it's likely we're going to come down. Like any software, there will be bugs. Yeah, it's how the response. See, ultimately, they're a company. They have clients. They make money from clients. Now, if I sell, I don't know, Zanussi washing machines, and if I build the Zanussi washing machines, and let's say I use a piece of software that does the electrics from a separate company, if something goes wrong with those electrics in my washing machine that I sell you, ultimately I'm responsible. So, if part of their package is you have to use this piece of software, then if it goes wrong, they're responsible for that. And obviously, if there's any, financial losses occurred, that will be down to Apex to take that up with Rhythmic. But ultimately, I know one of the first problems I had, I remember contacting them and they said, Rhythmic's nothing to do with us, it's not ours. And my answer was, well, yeah, it is. You say I have to use it, so as far as I'm concerned, I give you my money for a product, and if something doesn't work, that you're selling me that product, regardless of whether you own it or not, you're selling it as a service to me. Then you're responsible. And they gave in the end, but obviously now multiple people get problems. They tend to reset it just because something absolutely. How many times do people sell products that they've sourced other parts from other companies to, as part of that product? Oh, that's tempting. Lower high there, but in all fairness, there's a failure there, but it is a bit choppy. But yeah, they're responsible really, regardless of whether they own the software. If they say you have to use the software as part of our package, then as far as I'm concerned, they're responsible, and they need to step up. Yeah, I thought that might be a bit of a trap. It's going a bit sideways there, and that'll get stopped out. That will. Let's see if this one gets stopped. Quite a big strong bar there, and I expect that to go up. Might be interesting to see where this falls now, where this finishes. So, okay, so what am I seeing here? Leg down there, 1 leg up, 2 leg up. See, I remember one of the early videos I watched of Mac saying he loves range days. They're easy. He says he just shorts the top and buys the bottom. I beg to differ. Then it's not that easy, in my opinion. Which one of these is the bottom? Is this the bottom? Who knows? Is this the top? Are we going to come down? Are we going to go higher? We could finish there. We could go higher. But yeah, I would definitely say download OBS. It's free, and record your screen. You can always, it's useful to have these. And in all fairness, you don't think about it at the time, but when something goes wrong, you think, I wish that I've had that bit of software now. So I'd say that will help you out. It's good to have some proof, isn't it? Because some people, well, at the end of the day, if you've got no proof, what can you do? I have measured moves 4391. 4391. Is that right? I have a measured move to 4391. Up here. Oh, have you gone there, have you? Let's have a look. Got you. Okay, let's leave that in there then. If we can get above that. Trouble is, I hate going long on stuff like this, mind you. See, there's resistance there. That's what makes me nervous. You don't know whether this is a range and it's going to turn down here. What I will say is we haven't been to the bottom there, so I think there's a chance it'll go up. But see that bar there that's just triggered now? It's a high or low. Is it going to push up? It's trying to, but it may just turn here. See, that small measured move's been played out now. You just got trap on a failed second entry long. Failed second entry long. Yeah, the trouble is there is a possibility that that could happen, but I dare say if you're thinking long there, you're probably going to take that trade. You're probably going to be in this trade. Now, it might push up, but the way that's struggling to get up there would make me nervous. That's what I mean. They're quite hard to trade, these. You think leg up there and you might have another leg. And the fact that it hasn't come down there, you know, people will think, well, it hasn't come down here now, so it's made a higher low, so perhaps it is going. So when I find the pictures a little bit confusing and giving you mixed signals, it's a good time to stay out because there's going to be traps. See, that bar there has triggered, so it's clearly stacking up. So whether it's going to go up or come down is in the lap of the gods, in my opinion. But I wouldn't like to be in that trade now. It might work. There was clearly some strong buy in there, so in fact, after that, it's a new high. There's a failure there, so is there going to be any shorts in there? It's a doji. It's a perfect right in the middle doji, so I don't know. But there's some... yeah, I'm just staying out of this. I got mixed feelings. Could come down, it could go up. Akash Deep, you too. Bad luck, mate. Failed second entry long. Where did you take the failed second entry long? That one there, was it? Leg up there, try go once, try go twice. Yeah, that one there. Yeah, I looked at it. Remember I said about multiple traps? Because it's congested. If this was going to come down, in my opinion, it would do it from there because that is about as bearish as you can get. You could even say there's a push up there. We came back. That's a second push up. So if that was going to come down after that, as soon as that didn't trigger and it started going up, that had warning signals for me straight away. And then it does go a bit sideways. So, but don't feel bad about that. That's a useful tool. That's a useful lesson you've just been given them. And we've all had plenty of them. I certainly had more than my fair share of them. I'd have got trapped in that many times. But just after a while, something doesn't add up. Something doesn't look right, and you get that sort of, ooh, I don't like the look at this. And that's a good sign to get out there. And the more you get trapped and the more you lose trades, the better you'll get at not getting trapped. It's just a numbers game. It's just a matter of time. Okay, I did think that may push out if it can get above here. But in my opinion, that trade there with these three stacked up was risky. Doesn't mean it's not going to work. But it didn't come down, so maybe it'll go up. But I'm still not looking for a long trade here because it could just trap a few more longs and then come down. It depends where you've got we're clearly ranging at the moment, so it depends where you've got this top. Where else could we take it? That's a possibility. So we've got last bar of close yesterday. It touched twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. Sat on it 8 times, so that could be another area where it may come down. That's what I mean about Max saying he loves range days. They're easy to trade. Trouble is, if every time the top's in a different place and the bottom's in a different place, how the hell can you enjoy trading that? Yeah, I did look at that one, but I remember saying it's just, it's just sideways. So I got mixed feelings, and whenever I feel like that, you're always best to stay out, I think. I've saved myself a fortune not taking range trades. I've said many times, mate, I hate taking tops and bottoms because I'm crap at them. So whether it's just me crap at them or just because they're unpredictable, yeah, absolutely. Since I started picking tops and bottoms, I lose a lot less trades. What I try and do is find out when they bounce and they start to push up in a nice channel, and then pick them off when they're just starting to move with plenty of space to go. Maybe a push up, a couple of legs back, and a nice bullish bar. Maybe catch a second entry long, low down with. But yeah, picking tops and bottoms, I think you've got to be very experienced, and I'm just nowhere near experienced enough yet. But the trouble is, I suppose, I do try and monitor what happens, and I try and, maybe have a rough guess where I think it's going to turn. Trouble is, there was a failure there, wasn't there? You don't know whether that's going to bounce off here and push up, bigger channel. That's why trading takes so long, because it's so technical in the end, isn't it? It's one of those things you can only get better with experience. There's no magic bullet. You can't show someone how to do it. You can give somebody some guidance, but ultimately you've just got to fall on your face, haven't you, a bunch of times? And at some point then you start to learn. So a bit sideways and a push up, sideways, up. So that to me looks like the start of a little channel where we've pushed up, gone sideways, pushed up. Second entry long, retest this. Trouble is, this could be a trap as well. Maybe trap in some longs. Because this is ranging, and at some point it could come down. So second entry long there. We've tested this a couple of times. Still don't like it. It's still a bit sideways. It might work. But what I will say is, as we've pushed up and gone sideways, we've stayed in this side of that 2 tier. So this, for me, is losing a bit of upwards momentum. So this is just says something to me just to stay out at the moment. Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. Picking tops and bottoms is fraught with danger, isn't it? I'm just wondering if there's maybe a bigger channel there. Yes, if you take that, you've got no rooms up here, have you? Let's see what happens. It might trigger that, which is done, and go sideways. Okay, in that case it's worked. Wow, look, hasn't it gone? That's the trouble, you just never know. But if I think there's doubt or something doesn't add up, I'll just leave them, and I think I've got no problem with letting trades go. One thing you can guarantee about not taking a trade is you're not going to lose a penny. You have a bigger channel? Yeah, the one I've just drawn there, bud, yeah. Leg. And a leg, I think. No bigger. Ooh, you mean that one there? Yeah, it's a possibility, but I think that's going to be something later on in the day. I have a bit of an issue with this. I try and draw these channels too big, and it affects my trading sometimes. And I'll tell there's a reason I did this. I talked about this briefly the other day. When I looked at market, I had this, and we were going up, and we had a break here, and I was waiting for it to come down to here. Marco didn't have that, and he was focusing on this, and when he had that break, he took a long and it worked perfectly. So I think it's better to concentrate on the small stuff. Absolutely be aware of the bigger stuff, and something like that. So if you're on about going long, don't wait till it comes down here to go long if you get a second entry long here. And that's what I was doing last week. So, I'm constantly trying to brush up and figure out, constantly trying to adjust, my trading and to improve. But there was a leg up and a perfect second entry long here. I think nearly everyone took it bar me. I was waiting for it to come down here to touch this. So it's definitely good to be aware of this, because if it does come down and bounce, then that might be a good indication that bigger channel. So I think it's useful to remember that. But ultimately, I think it's important not to forget these smaller channels, because this, the moves from these is where we make our sort of bread and butter. But I noticed I was doing that last week. I noticed when I looked at some charts on the Facebook group, a couple of people took a really nice second entry long, and I missed it because I was the stupid one sat down here all day waiting for it to come down here. So I think it's good to be aware of stuff like that. I mean, even if you have another chart the same above your head and draw, have a bigger pattern on it, but there could be something, I think maybe something at the end of the day will end up marking it down, and it might fit in there. But you can't trade this channel as a small channel, because if you did, you'd wait for it to come down here every time, and it might never happen. But if you think about the small stuff, you know what I mean? I think that's the important bit. Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be aware of both, haven't you? Absolutely, yeah. See, the other day I was trading just the big channel, so I was waiting for it to come down here, and every other man and his dog was up here making the money. So yeah, I'm just a bit aware of it. But it's just about looking at your trades, comparing them to other, because I'm always comparing my charts to other people on the Facebook group, because I can see theirs, and I look at mine and look at theirs and figure out what they did. Did I miss something, or did I do something that they missed? And it just helps you broaden your picture of reading this, this day-to-day price. But I can find myself improving all the time. I get trapped a lot less, and it just goes to show I'm clearly paying attention to when I lose. I always give it chance to potentially trap me now. So if I take this, let's give it chance to stop me out if I took that trade. And if it stops me out, I made the right decision. If it carries on, okay, well, that's fine. But you do look at, it's good to look at your own trading all the time. Yeah, I did pop over and watch young Moo. He still scalps for a point, doesn't he? It's a shame, really. What I'll say is, to me now, I really don't see the point in scalping for a point, and I'll tell you why. Mac sold us this business and based his business on what it used to be like on 2 points. So your maximum risk would be 2 points. It just doesn't happen anymore. I mean, how often do you have a maximum risk of 2 points? Maybe 1 in 8, 1 in 9 trades. Most of the time, you're talking 3 points or 3.5 or 3.25. So the reason is the bars are bigger. So if your risk is growing, so should your profit. Otherwise, I just don't see the point in risking 3.5 points to make a point. It's completely counterproductive. There might be a possible second entry long here. Let me have a look. But yeah, you've got to trade, in my opinion, a minimum of 6 ticks. Trouble is, if I put that there now, it might put me off taking this. But yeah, I mean, things have changed, haven't they? It's rare to get a 2 point risk with a tick above. So if you can't, if your risk is bigger because the bars are bigger, then surely your profit's going to be bigger. It has to be. In my opinion, risking 3.5 points to make a point, you're not going to make money. You need to be trading really at 95% to start making money out of that, really. Okay, so leg, let's see what happens here. let's just bring this over here just to be aware of this potential low. I like the way that touches once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6, 7. Be nice to get a bounce somewhere around about here. But there is always the possibility of a bigger range, and this is just coming in, so I always like to wait on that higher low. We're at the overnight high, so be cautious, yeah. So you saying the overnight highs are probably about here, yeah? So realistically, overnight highs are about at the top of that line, aren't they? Okay, so there's a second entry along there. EMA's flat. I'm just sitting tight at the moment. I always wait for that higher low because I've been shafted so many times. It'd be nice to come to here somewhere. If we can test this line up here and retest the top of this, I think that might be a good call if we can get a higher low. We have got some height we can still go to. There's also possibly a leg and a leg which would take us even higher. And if it does continue down, then the possibility of something bigger down here. Okay, same again, another higher low. EMA's flat, they're closing just under, so nothing I can do here at the moment. It'd be nice to get in this cross section here where these two meet. But yeah, being aware this could just be a big range. I mean, what's indicating we're going higher was this, that, and that. And then when we expected a possible low from that, it continued on higher. So it's, for me, it's got a bullish imbalance. So as we've pushed up there and had a break, I think there's a good chance of going up. I certainly think it's more likely going to go up, especially the way this is sideways, down, sideways. This looks like it's sort of, I've already got a break and a new high on that channel, have you? Yeah, there is a possibility of a break there, isn't there? So, yeah. The reason I put that is because sideways we went up. Sideways we went up. So, I always wait for that higher low. So, if we get a higher low, that really rules out massively the chance of coming down. So, we'll see. But I do like the way it's sideways, down, sideways. So if we push up from here and make a higher low, great, we're going up. If we don't continue down, I'm going to bin this channel and widen the... But it's not just coming straight down, it's pushing down a bit and going sideways, so we'll see. Yeah, I've got mixed feelings about that. You might be right, and maybe a bit, but well, we'll have to see. I may get rid of the whole thing if we don't start pushing up, and then just extend that top a little bit to the tops here, and maybe picking off that and the bottoms. So let's see if this ends up bullish. If this doesn't trigger and come down, and we get a higher low, then there's 2 reasons to go higher. I like the way it's sitting right there. I can micro adjust that. And that makes no difference whatsoever to the bottom. Touch fitting beautifully there, and twice it's sitting there. So that's a good start anyway. So I want to see this trigger and push up. If that triggers and comes down, then I can see us coming back into this range. If it triggers at all. So far, this is the 3rd bar that's holding. I want to see that trigger. If that trigger, it doesn't stop it out, I think that's a good sign. Okay, that's triggered. Oh, yeah. So there may have been some stops there. So I want a higher low there. That, I mean, that's at a strong push up there. It's got to have hit some stops there. Yeah, see, some people, usually the ones with balls, will be taking that. I'm not one of them. I'm a bit of a coward in all fairness, but so let's just check it's not a leg and a leg. So we got a leg up. One attempt to go higher, lower. Let's see if we can get a higher low here. It's got to come close to here for me. But yeah, if you'd bought into that one, I think you got 2 points within a second, didn't you? Yeah, Martin, it was a quick push up. I didn't expect that. I thought that might trigger. I thought it might trigger and slowly grind up, or trigger, come down and stop it out. With absolutely, yeah. It's nice when that happens in a trade, because it doesn't often that happen, does it? It doesn't often happen like that. But so I'm just going to drag this out the way a bit, just to give me a bit of a clearer picture. I'm not even convinced that's relevant anymore, is it? Let's leave it there anyway a minute. So we've touched multiple times here, which I like. 3 times there, which I like. I've been trapped with these as well before. I've taken them here, it's triggered me and come back down to here and pushed up. So I always like to take my higher lows really close to that, the EMA, especially the bodies. But that looks like a leg and a leg, doesn't it? A leg and a leg. Let's see, there's still always that possibility it could come down. Yeah, see, there's still some support there, isn't there? I'd like that to trigger this, ideally. So there is the possibility of a leg, 2 legs of correction, and another leg. That's possible. I don't see why not after we came down from here and then started to turn. Mind you, we're running out of top on the daily. There's not much space left on the top of the daily without popping out the top. Let me have a look. We've had some really strong bullish moves over the last few days, really strong. So leg. Actually, this may turn into this bigger channel. We'll see. I'm just going to quickly drag the daily in. See, we had this down. We had big push up. This is the daily. We were touching. Then we got that bit where we overshot. And then we've rocketed up. So again, a bit sideways here. So whether we might come down and continue up. So this may be the break after this, and it may continue up. So I'm not sure at the moment. So we may still go sideways for a bit, or we may drop quickly before we push up. We could do a bunch of stuff really. Let's see if this holds here and then a higher low. That's a good sign. I have a feeling we're going to come down here, leg and a leg. And the reason I fear that is because we've come from the top and we've only pushed up here to the midline and turned. So I think there's going to be a break here. And if it does, we may get this. Was it mentioned about that bigger channel? Let's see if this breaks here. I think it will. Okay, skin of its teeth. That's nothing for me. I think it'll still come down. It is holding, but it's weak. Yeah, I'd say we're definitely coming down here. We've got a leg and a leg. There's one big leg and a bigger leg. I can see this triggering and then coming down again. See, there may be some people gone long there, which is just triggered, so we'll see. Yeah, so if you took that, I like this long. Yeah, I wouldn't take that long there. Look at that. And the reason I think it's, I mean, it may hold. The reason I think it's going to come down is because it looks like a leg and a leg to me. And when this pushed up, it went up, but it stopped at that midline. It could have gone right up to the top, but it didn't. So you just get used to getting a feeling when something's going to break, when it seems to be losing momentum and a bit of strength. And this to me needs a correction, and that's one leg down to me. And let's see. Okay, we've had a small break, but not what I was expecting. 3-point bar trap. I'm not even a fan of that channel now. So I was expecting another leg down here. Now, okay, this is what I think. We haven't had that second leg down, so I think we'll go sideways until we get to this. I could be completely wrong, but sometimes if we don't get back to here, a lot of times we'll go sideways in these bigger channels. Whether it is a bigger channel. Obviously, I'm just blowing hot air at the moment. Whether it'll come true or not, I don't know, but it's okay to bring other strategy into the chat, or would you like to get... No, you say whatever you want, mate. To be honest with you, although I trade pats, I still keep an eye out for some penguin stuff. I think it's always good to have extra strings to your bow. Now, you know, I wouldn't completely move on to a completely different strategy, but if I can pick bits from penguin, absolutely. So what I will say is there, in fact, when you mentioned that, I was looking at this. We had a leg up there. We had 2 attempts to go lower and a big strong bar. So that may be I don't know whether he'd take that or not, penguin. But yeah, say whatever you like, mate. Whatever you like. I just have a feeling we're going to do a bit of sideways till we get to this bigger channel. Let's just put that there for now. We can take that up a fraction. To there, say. Touch, 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 touch. So I have a feeling that there may be something bigger brewing, and it's probably going to come sideways to this and then work up again. Probably. So you take that with a pinch of salt. Yeah, it's all right, Martin, any time. You're not Martin Keychak, are you, by the way? No, I don't think you are you? It's all right, I'll trade a buddy I chat to now and again. No, okay. I know he's moved on to Penguin. He's been having some success with it as well, actually. But yeah, it's always good to have extra strings to your bow. If you can see something, Lance, are you still a paid subscriber to Penguin? No, but I'm not. Or did you stop when you refocused? Yeah, I did. Having said that, mate, I can still get onto the. In fact, someone told me that. I can't remember who it was. When you subscribe once, even if you cancel it, you still get the emails from him, and you can still get on the what? If I flick over on the what's it here, I've just clicked over to there, so I can still see what people are saying there, and you still get the emails. I can't remember who it was. Someone on his forum told me that, and if I look at the emails, yeah, there you go. I've got another email from him. Just that'll be updates. So yeah, so if you subscribe once, I mean, there's videos on his YouTube, on his website, but none of them play. I couldn't get any of them to play. But yeah, that setup looked good on the NQ. That one there, leg up and 2 legs back. Yeah, I just have a feeling this is going to go a bit sideways. It might not. It might be just 2 legs back and then up. But what I will say is we've touched once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times along that line. Just join your Discord. Ah, brilliant. Yeah. Where are you? I don't know who that is. Yeah, it's just useful. The reason I did that is you guys can see my chart, but you know, sometimes if you guys are trying to show me something, I can't figure out what you're saying. It's handy just to post stuff. But yeah, it's always good to have a set. The thing is, you can't, apart from having a comment, you can't put anything else in the box, unfortunately. You can't post links or nothing like that. I don't know why, so it's useful to have the Discord, really. I thought it was a little bit more complicated than it was to set up, but no, it all works. Richard, how you doing? Oh, a really manly wave. There you go. I wish they'd make some slightly more manly little waving icons here. Maybe a guy sticking his 2 fingers up. Something a bit. Is that a Australian flag I see there, Richard? Is it? Is there another Aussie in the room? Don't mention cricket. Not my favourite subject at the moment. We've just been we're just out of the. Oh, you're a Kiwi, even worse. How you doing? New Zealand, yeah, New Zealand. Yeah, we're not doing too well at the cricket at the moment, England. We've just, I think we've won 1 game in 6. We've just can be completely embarrassed. I think New Zealand are doing okay, aren't they? I think India are at the top, aren't they? At the top of the World Cup league. I think New Zealand are pretty close to the top, I think, aren't they? So, are we now pushing up? Do you know what? There is a possibility that did I have that there a minute ago? I think I did, didn't I? Leg and a leg. Yeah, there may be a second leg. It doesn't look like a leg with 2 leg correction and a possible other leg working up. That would take us higher than this. Leg up, 2 legs back. That does look like especially when we had that strong push up, I think that was a good indicator we were going up. Leg up, 2 legs back. I'd say that would be a penguin. So whether he take that or maybe come back on a limit order. Okay, we're at the highs of the day, yeah. See, after that strong push-up, if you've got that, you may have taken one of these. Trouble is, it's an inside bar, really, so you don't know whether it's going to tick you and then come down to the bottom of this. But the way that's gone sideways until it's hit that line, in line with all those, that's got to mean something, isn't it? I mean, look at that. 1, 2 perfect touches, 3, 4, 5 perfect touches, 6, 7, 8. You can't deny that, can you? RMTC 23. You're definitely a new face. Welcome. And technology amazing, so you're what the other side of the world right about now. I'll never get tired of technology. Wow. Well, that certainly went up strong. I didn't expect that. Okay, so that measured legs played out. Let's have a look at this one. So, leg and a leg. And there's quite likely something bigger. I don't think it will come into play just yet. Let's have a look. Maybe. So let's just kill the colour out of that. So let's darken this a bit. So there is quite likely something big. If we have a leg and a leg, we may have something down here. But if that gets close to this, I think that's a good sign that there is something bigger. But let's concentrate on this smaller stuff. So that's what I mean about this smaller stuff. If all you're ever doing is waiting for it to come down the bottom or here, you're going to miss out on certain setups. I've got FOMO. Yeah, there's not a lot of great trades I think I can see there. Yeah, I never really mind about missing trades. Because if you don't see it in time or you're a bit unsure, I think it's always better to just let them go. But yeah, the good thing about not taking a trade is you're guaranteed not to lose. Whereas if you take a trade, there's no guarantee. So I've got no problem there. I mean, taking a trade here, unfortunately, there's nothing really. If you take that, it could trigger you, come back into this range and go sideways till it gets to possibly here. So none of these are a good trade in my opinion, not something that would drag me in. Here, same again, it's just sideways with that breakout. If you take a long here, it's a big risk, 4 points I'd say. So there's just nothing I can see. It's definitely a bit choppy. What I will say is we had this problem yesterday with mine looking quite different. Mine look a lot like your guys today. It was completely different at one point. I did reload my historic straight away. So hopefully, I usually would have taken that W long earlier. That one there, yeah. That there. Yeah. Bang on today, excellent. So yeah, it is a W pattern, isn't it? I mean, when it pushed up like that, when it touched 3 times, I think that speaks volumes, doesn't it? So, see, I don't usually trade patterns, but I try to be aware of stuff. But yeah, I see what you mean. We hit that. We touch it along here, aren't we? And what happens next? We had 3 perfect touches here, and off that went. So that tells you there's a lot of strong buying in there. So what does that tell you? It's not bad, obviously you want to try and follow the, the buyers, don't you? Which is Penguin style. Penguin, he tends to see. Let's have a look at this. He tends to trade a bigger picture. So we've got a channel up here, 2 attempts to go lower, and a strong push up. So that to us it's like a bigger version of a second entry long, and that's what he does. He has a leg, makes 2 attempts to go lower. And then it pushes up, but he does have videos. He took that trade, that one there. I thought he might do. Leg up, 2 attempts to go lower. Yeah, I thought he might do. But he does videos every day, so I watch them. I always watch his videos. So for any new guys who are not sure, I'll find him. That's the guy there. He's very good. He's very technical, and he knows what he's talking about. That's him there, Penguin Trades. But look how many trades he wins a day. Look, 13 points, 3 points, 5.5 points, 18.5 points, 8 points, 23 points. He does post his losers. He does have losing trades, but look at his, it takes a bit and you're getting your head around, but definitely worth a watch. Okay, so look where we're touching here, right there. So that's a good sign. Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Leg up there, 2 attempts to go low, big strong push up. Did he actually take it at the close of that, did he? Or did he put a limit order, or did he sort of go a bit lower? But the trouble is he likes to get out before these highs, doesn't he? So he'd probably have to take that maybe on a limit order, wouldn't he? So if he took that, would that be there or there? He'd want to get out before the highs, and yeah, he'd. So I'm guessing he maybe gets something like that there. In fact, I've got an email. That might be it. Doesn't show on this one. Okay, right to the top of that. In fact, I can adjust this slightly so it actually touches perfectly. Yeah, look at that. I'm guessing that's going to come. Oh, we've gone right close to that. Yeah, it fits perfect, that, doesn't it? Top confirmed nicely. Yeah. Now, I know some traders who will short that. In fact, I saw Marco take a short trade at the top of here, a bearish bar back to the EMA. It was quite a while ago. He posted one of his trades, showing some of his trades, I think. So that measured moves played out perfectly as well. So it'd be nice to see that close there. So yeah, some days the market works beautifully. And so far, we've got a perfect measured leg up there. Look at that, right to the tick. In fact, you can adjust that and make that to the tick. And right to the top of this. So that's played out. And I'm guessing this is probably going to come down. Put it this way, it certainly wouldn't be the place to buy, would it? But strangely enough, sometimes it continues on from heights like that. But I'm guessing this is probably going to come down, at least to here. So if that channel's valid, that's probably a bit of an overshoot from this purple channel. So may come down pretty steep. I certainly think that long is going to get stopped out anyway. I expect this to come down quite sharp in a minute. It amazes me how it comes down a bit and still pushes back up. It's clearly touching resistance there multiple times. You'd expect that to drop like a stone, wouldn't you? There's still parts of this trade and I just don't get. Okay. We got something from Mac. Let's see what his take on this is. It's got to come down from there, surely, isn't it? Okay, maybe this is a lower high. That's a bullish bar. That's relatively bullish. Both of those are triggered. This looks like a lower high. I'd say it's going to stop that out and that out. I just can't see how going long there is going to work. Oh. That's unusual. Seven. I think Max finally lost his marbles. He's posted a daily. That's no good to anyone, is it? Let's have a look. Yeah, this is the 7th. Let's have a look. Yeah, 7th, 11th. He's just posted it. He's posted a daily. He's finally cracked. He did say he was going to retire soon, but oh well, he's posted a daily. And he's become a sweeter, I think he has. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming he's made a mistake, isn't he? I wonder if someone will let him know. Well, excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. My daughter just came home. She's just doing her mock tests at the moment, ready for her GCSE. So she's just passed today, so she's quite happy. Okay, so what's going on here? It's running along that. I'm surprised it's still holding. So, in fact, I'm going to kill that. I don't think we need it now. So we've got a leg up, 2 legs of correction, and a leg up. We know that's played out beautifully, but it's still holding, which is unusual. Good afternoon, all. How are we doing so far? Not too bad, mate. Well, no trades yet, but that's not a bad thing. Not a huge amount, but it does look like we're working. We've had a touch and a touch, multiple touches on the top. So it does look like we're working in a channel here, which is a good sign. Unfortunately, nothing we can do up here. Okay. So just could you see that? Could you see me do all that? You probably could, couldn't you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Last. You can see that, can't you? Last day off. Yeah, it's the last day of the 90% off today. Just in case anybody doesn't know. Okay. So are we breaking out? It's just a bit risky going along here. It's not saying it won't work, but okay, folks. My wife's just turned up, as you can hear by the whinge of the dog. I'm just going to make a quick cup of tea, and I'm going to have a 5-minute break. So I'll be 5 minutes. Okie dokie. All right. Where's the 5-minute break? There we go. Okay. Right. Let's see if we get a proper correction. See, that's an overshoot of this bigger channel, isn't it? Looks like it's going to suck in some longs. Yeah, we got to see that. I can't see how we can extend that any higher. I mean, there's always a possibility. It sort of kind of fits in a strange way, doesn't it? Well, if you think about it, it's... No, it's touching there, and there, so I think that's more likely. So, I think we've got to see this as a... as an overshoot. See if it sucks in some longs. I mean, it's possible it could continue working up at a steeper angle, and this is out of the question. But I don't think it will. I think that long is going to get trapped. But you never know. Leg. Yeah, that looks to me. And you see it all the time. It goes up a bit, up a bit, up a bit, up a bit, up a bit. It looks like it's going, and people jump in, and all of a sudden, wham, down it comes. Not saying it won't go higher, but after an overshoot, you have to just treat it as it could go off in this direction. And not only that, we were right at the top of the channel anyway, so I'd expect you just never know what's going to happen. But I think if you took that long, unfortunately, it's just not looking like it's going to work. Okay, so leg. I can see another leg coming down here. Oh. Okay, so that one eventually got stopped out. Now there's a a lower high there. Okay, now it depends how you read this. There is a possibility of a lower high there. Now, if you get rid of that, it may not look bad. It's hard to say, really. Now, I missed a trade like this the other day because I was expecting it to come back to here. That hasn't fallen right anyway, but we have had a leg up here. It doesn't mean to say we can't go up at a steeper angle. And in all fairness, this could be just a sideways, and we've pushed up, and now we're just pushing higher, so there could be a possible second entry long there, and it may work. Depends how you have this channel, and the way it pushed up, might mean that maybe it's not valid. I mean, really, a valid channel is supposed to hit in 3 points, isn't it? And at the moment, it's only hitting once. So I'm on the fence for that a minute. I tend to miss trades like this sometimes. That's a channel, I think. We came sideways and pushed up again. So maybe that worked, maybe it won't. But I'm staying out of it because the EMA is flat. You just don't know. It may work and it may work perfectly, but I tend to get a feeling and I tend to trust that feeling. And yeah, it's finished a couple of 3 ticks under the EMA. EMA is perfectly flat, so who knows? So maybe some traders will have gone long there. I think that's going to get stopped out. It's asking to get stopped out, that I think. But you just never know. It is a second entry long, but the EMA is flat and it's not a great bar. But just sometimes they work. But yeah, again, sometimes it'll do what it did there. It'll push up and push up and push up. And it's almost like saying, come on, you're going to miss me. Comes back a bit, gives you another chance, gives you another chance. And then after, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, starts to come back. Now, I don't know why it does that, whether it's, I don't know what causes it or whatever. I got no idea, but. I mean, it is trying to push up, isn't it? It may go, but for me, it's risky. We've had this pushed out, and it's choppy and sideways here anyway. So I wouldn't want to enter in that lot anyway. But for me, I think it's more likely to come down. And we've got a leg down sideways. I expect another leg down. It's looking like a bear flag, isn't it? I think for me to get into a trade, it's got to. Whether it will or not is a different matter. Sorry. There's still the possibility of that bigger channel there. I'm not a massive fan of the bottom, but what I will say about the top is it actually really fits nice and it visually looks okay. I could see it going down to 90-ish. Yeah, I'm with you there. The trouble is, obviously, you just never know. It depends how you have your. Now, usually, it's supposed to confirm a channel. It's supposed to touch in 3 places, but it's not really there. So, although it's fitting nice at the tops, it visually looks like it, but you just never know. This may be a channel. You may get 2 legs, and it may continue up. And in which case, then we'll maybe draw a bigger channel from here. But I mean, there's nothing set in stone, is there? But obviously, as a Pats trader, we're taught to sort of identify, areas where markets might change. And to me, it looks like an overshoot. It might not touch 3 times, but visually, it looks like it fits in there. But sometimes it'll do that, go a bit sideways. It's hard to say. It may just continue up. But personally, I'm not looking for longs until we sort of maybe get round to this area. But I've got a funny feeling this may take a while. Okay, I'm just going to take a couple of minute bathroom break. It won't be a second. Okay. Ooh, is this going to trap some longs? Ooh, I'm not sure what's going on here. Leg. Let's see if this traps some longs in here. See, personally, I think this is coming down, but you never quite know. Ooh, can I get you guys hit that like button? Is that okay? I'm just trying to grow the channel slowly. I didn't realise it does get out to more people if there's more likes. I didn't think it made a difference. Okay, let's see what happens with this bar here. Thank you, appreciate that. Is Trader Sync only for stocks? No, do whatever you want on it, mate. I use mine for futures. Just enables you to keep track of your trades and your equity curve and all that sort of stuff. And it auto. What I do at the end of the day is if I click this one here, if I click on like executions, it's right. These are from for an evaluation I traded before. Click on executions and then click export and then save that CSV file. Save it there like that. Then I can import it into. So where's my CSV file? Somewhere. That file then I just click open Trader Sync and click get trades and then import and then browse the file, import, and it brings everything in. Set commissions and everything, but what I'm looking for is an overall picture of what my trading's doing, not just a day-to-day, but obviously you can get an equity curve. It's what it's doing over a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months and beyond. If it's continuing to go up, then I'm aiming in the right direction. But sometimes we're that sort of focused on what happens today and what happened yesterday and that loss I had the day before yesterday, and ultimately it's about the bigger picture. So you're welcome. Well, you can download it for a week and just give it a try. It takes a bit of getting your head around. It's a bit fiddly, but there are videos on there. But yeah, you can try it for a week. But it's, I think most traders, well, certainly professional traders use stuff like that. I have used Wilson's in the past, Wilson's spreadsheet. But this it tells you what your win rate is, what your lose rate is, what your average profit is, and all sorts of stuff. Shows you your equity curve as well, ultimately. There's all sorts of bits of information. It can tell your most profitable times of the day, your most profitable days of the week. There's all sorts of stuff. So that looks like 2 legs of correction. So it's not pushing down as strong as I thought it may. Thanks, Edward. I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks. You guys have just hit that like button. Thank you. So we have had that what looks like an overshoot. Trouble is, this may not be valid. And in the end, I mean, really, at the moment, if you take away that, the picture looks a bit MAE and MFE would be important for me to track. Yeah, well, I don't know what those are. I don't know what they are, but there's all sorts of stuff you can do in it. Just download it for a week and have a play around with it. But there's all sorts of different features you can include. But what I will say is if you do have it, what we're doing, you'll need the basic one. But have a play around with it for a week, and but it is a bit complicated initially. Well, it was for me anyway. Basically, how far the trade goes against. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure whether that's in there, but you can put all sorts of settings in it to give you certain bits of information about what's happening. But I watched a video about this guy using it, and he said he found out that Wednesdays was his worst day, so he decided to take Wednesdays off. So it gives you, lots of bits of stuff like that. Are you more profitable in the morning or in the afternoon? And it gives you a picture that, you wouldn't normally think about. Up until recently, all I've focused is in what's happened today. But ultimately, it doesn't matter what happens today, whether you have a losing day, 2 losing days in a row. It doesn't matter. What matters is, are you getting a nice, steady equity curve moving upwards? That's the bigger picture, and that's all. That's the be all and end all. That's everything. It doesn't matter what happens day by day. I never really thought about it like that until I started watching some of these videos on using these different trade journals. Lance, what's your percentage passing and blown evaluations? You probably don't want to know, actually, mate. I don't know, in all fairness. I've got no idea. But I would say I trade them a bit silly, or I have done in the past. And I would say, I don't know, I've probably, maybe 1 in 5, 1 in 7, something like that. Because I go silly sometimes, or I have done, I'll trade a full 10 contracts. But, some people speed them up and they take more risks. Some people don't. But what I will say is, I know some people, I'll tell you what some people are doing. If you want to have most of the time a 50-50 chance of pass it when they're cheap, they get 2 evaluations, wait for a news event, go long 10 contracts with 6.25 points on one, and go short 10 contracts, 6.25. When I say 6.25, that extra quarter gives you an extra $125. When you take away the fees, it gives you about an extra $70, $75, $80. So for when you're doing your micro every day for the remaining, and they do that. So if the market spikes off in one direction, it'll usually pass one and fail the other. And I know there was some guys talking about that the other day on it. You technically could do with that. You technically could do that anytime. No, you could do, yeah. As soon as you have a news event, I noticed there was a few people talking about that's what they've started doing, rather than spending and time maybe passing them. I mean, whether it's a good idea. I mean, I would only do that if you can trade and you can build a PA account. But if you've never done a PA account and you're just gambling, then it's not a good way to do it, really. The reason I've done stuff like that is because rather than take nice and slowly over a 30-day period, I can get it up and running. Well, not me personally, but that's why other people have done this news. They can get them up and running in a week. Not on a PA account, not on an evaluation. Doesn't matter what you do. The rules aren't the same on evaluations. I feel I waste too much time on evals when I'm done on my PAs. Yeah. I mean, I was even talking to Daniel about this, and we know Daniel does really well, but he trades max contracts on evaluations because he likes to get them done. If you can get them done in a couple of days, all you've got to do for the remaining 5 days is just do 1 micro. And if I do that, I just put it on MES and I trade 1 micro for 2 ticks. Doesn't matter. I just click buy or sell. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose, because even with the losing trade on 2 micros, you're going to lose $3 maximum. I would find it odd if Apex doesn't care, because that does show that you can trade. Ultimately, they know people do stupid things on evaluations. You can't do that on a PA account, though, because they will penalise you. They have a 30% rule, so if you want to withdraw money, they don't want you to make 30% of that amount on one day. And if they do, they'll refuse you. It just means you've got to trade for a longer period, that's all. But no, it doesn't matter on evaluation. If it did, I wouldn't have any of these PA accounts because I always usually speed mine up. See, I took another evaluation yesterday, and it's on $2,400 at the moment. In 2 days, I wait till I see a good strong move, and I just go for 5 or 10 contracts, and I try and get $1,000 out of it, something like that, because I want to focus my time and energy on the PAs really. Now you might disagree with that, and it's fair comment. Some people say you should trade it the same as a PA. Well, my answer to that is if you're a relatively new trader and you've never had a PA, then you want to be doing the evaluations nice, slow and steady. But if you have got PAs and you have made money and you can hold PAs for a period of times and you want to add some more PAs, then, I got no problem with, trading max contracts and just speeding them up. So for me, I'd rather get it within 7 days and have it working and hopefully earning me money rather than take my time over a month. But if you're new to trade or new to PAs, then absolutely take them slowly. Too many accounts. They don't bother me. People blow in hundreds and hundreds. There was a guy, he'd blown over 600 a couple of weeks ago. I know loads of people who've blown over 500. The thing is, with Apex, with these 90% off sales at the moment, a $50 evaluation will cost you $17. So, if somebody's down, it's natural they're going to take a bigger risk to try and clear that. Yeah, absolutely. It's only natural they're going to take a big risk to move on. The trouble is, if people are trying to pass them 10 at a time, it's surprising how quick you get through. He's down 8,000 today. Oh dear. 8,000. How can it be down 8,000? Oh, right. Okay. Over multiple accounts. Yeah. You're on 36. You're doing well then. You're doing well. I think he blew it again. The trouble is with Moo, he still scalps a point. So he risks 3.5 points or 3.25 points to scalp a point. You've got to be a really good trader to make money scalping a point, in my opinion. You've got to be. If you risk 3.5 points, so who the hell is Moo? He's just another streamer. He's a youngish lad. I'd say, I don't know, mid 20s, I think, something like that. But yeah, he had 20 PA accounts and ended up blowing them all. I thought the same as yeah. His name's Moo Trades. I don't know where the Moo Trades comes from. But yeah, he had 20 Moo Revenge Trades. Yeah, I was watching him yesterday a bit, and I think he was taking 1 contract or 2 contract, and he was adding to him as he was moving up. But the trouble is with these evaluations, because they're so cheap, it's very, very easy and very tempted to take a stupid risk. It really is. I've done it myself many times. And that's the downside of having them cheap, because if you're not going to lose a lot, you'll take a risk. He's got mood. Yeah, I saw him trading yesterday, and I thought it was a matter of time. Because unfortunately, trading 1 for 1 point profit, it was losing. If you're trading 2 contracts, if he's risking 3 points, he's going to lose 600 on. Sorry, if he's trading 3 contracts and he loses 3 points, what's that? 3? He's losing. No, that's not right, is it? 300. What's he losing? About 450. He's losing $450 to win 100 or to win 150. It's a big risk. 8 contracts today. Yeah, trouble is, you trade 8 contracts, you ain't got room for manoeuvre. I think market goes against you 8 points and you're screwed. Robin H, how you doing, pal? He's lost a bunch today. Yeah. And so, yeah, the trouble is when you're trading that many contracts, and I know because I've traded 10 contracts trying to pass them quick, you lose 6 points, you've had it, you're down. So in my opinion of him, I think he's got some trading skills, absolutely. But it's, I've gone down to 1 or 2. If you're taking a lot, you're blowing multiple ones at the same time. So that's why I've sort of go back to doing 1 or 2. Because I know Wilson's back up to 20. Trouble is, if you blow 20, it's heartbreaking. And I don't think, really, in my opinion, you should go for that many until you can consistently trade and make money. Because, if you trade copy and you make one bad trade, technically you've made 20 bad trades because it just copies, which is a real shame. Was he trading peers? Yeah, evals at the moment. And over here, Lance is Robin Apex. I've not had a lot of money. I've had $10,000 this year from him, which is not a huge amount. I could have had a bit more. But I think what it is, you win a bit, lose a bit, win a bit, lose a bit. And every time you win a bit, it's a little bit more. And I think it's a sort of a slow ladder to success. But I've got 1 PA now, which I've had. I think this is day 15, and I'm only trading 1 contract. I'm up to just over $1,200. And the way I see it is if on 1 contract, if you're earning between $1,500 and $2,000 per month, and you times that by 10 contracts, yeah, I had it all wrong in all fairness. I was trading 2 contracts, and it is a bit too much risk. You're risking over 10% or 10% on average. And if you told any professional trader, if you went to Berkshire Hathaway and said, yeah, I'm a trader, I'll trade your money, I'm only going to risk 10%, they kick you straight out the door. I don't really have a daily loss limit, but I generally, if I lose 2 trades in a row, I'll walk away. But even on 3 points, my maximum trade is $150. So my maximum day loss would only be around about $300. And you can bounce back from that. But it's, I feel like I'm on the way up now, and I still have a little stumble. So I've had 4 payments. I've had 3 $2,000 payments and a $4,000 payment. Now, the last 4 accounts I had, I could have taken another. I could have had another 4,000 out there, and the first one I could have had another 2, but I've been trying to hold them. But then, because I was trading 2 contracts, you have a couple of losses, and they're quite large ones. You can be down $650, $700. It's hard to recover from that. Yeah, so trading 1 contract. I mean, the ATR's low at the moment, but let's say 2.25 points. So you'd be losing about $112 in a trade, which is not a lot, really. You lose 2 of them, and you'll recover from that. Which failure is gone? Win this one up or down? I'm thinking bullish at the moment. It depends how far this comes down to. I would have said we got a leg down sideways and another leg down. But I've got 2 school of thoughts at the moment. There's possibly that one. I think that's probably about right, actually. Touch multiple times there, we've touched there. So we've got a leg down sideways, another leg down here. I think that's probably about right. There's obviously this one as well. That's a possibility of an even larger one. So it's hard to say, really. That's the problem with these evals. The account is only up the size of the drawdown, 1,500 account. Yeah, 10% risk. Yeah. I will agree with you. Yeah, it's okay speeding them, but it does get you into bad habits, and it's very easy just to see something and click that button. Really, you want to be going through that process of, assessing it. But I think you need sort of like I said this the other day. You need to follow a process. So if you're a carpenter and you've come to fit some doors, your process is you bring your tools into the house. You make sure you've got your tools with you. You measure the door, you measure the window, you measure and you cut. They say over here, measure, cut twice, cut once. Now, if you turn up without your tape measure and you decide to wing it and I'll have a go, and you get it wrong, which you're probably going to, you've lost money, you're going to have to fork out for a new door, it's going to take you longer. So if you try and bend the rules and break the rules, eventually you'll get into trouble. So you need to follow the rules. If you're a painter, you paint the ceiling first, then you paint the walls. If you decide because you've forgotten your white paint, you'll just do the walls first, it's not going to work. You'll splatter, unless it's white, you'll splatter paint all over the wall. So you have to follow a process, and a process has to be adhered with. And as soon as you start to break rules or change that process, that's when things go wrong. So what I try and do is every day is I just jot down a few lines. I always usually start it with, this is a business. I'm doing this to make money, not fun. So my rules are today, I wait till I see a setup, I take a trade, and I fully commit, and that's it. And I do that 1 to 3 times a day, and that is my job for the day. At the end of the day, I write a brief summary. Did I make any mistakes? What went wrong? What went right? Blah, blah, blah. And then I forget about that day. I try and put trading out my head, walk away from my chart, and tomorrow when I come to chart, so I just take it day by day, and I'm trying to just work the process and not think about the money. When I first started trading, the guy said to me, forget the money, get the trading right and the money will follow, I guarantee it. But we do hear all these stories about people losing earning massive amounts of money, and it's really hard to get sucked into that, and you start counting the dollars before you've even earned it. And once things start to go, fall away from you, you start to think, oh, I'm losing me money now. Well, you haven't earned any money yet, really. So it's really easy to get into that money mindset where you're just thinking about the money, and then when you lose some money, you tend to make stupid decisions and take risks. And I know this from experience, so I'm just trying to, work on where I've gone wrong and what I can do to sort of, because if you can not revenge trade and genuinely just take setups, you'll make it as a trader. Let's have a look. My process is a better trader than I am. Yeah, absolutely. I don't understand why people don't use the 25 evals, 1 micro, 1%. Only costs $20 a month. The eval is cheaper than that. Date, just adjust the sim. Yeah, I know what you're saying, mate. And what I put it down to is people want to make money sort of rush too quickly. The only thing I say with that 1 micro is if you're going for 2 points, you're making $10. So if you take, I don't know, 8 trades a week, there's a potential $80. If you lose 1 or 2 of them, you might make $60 a week. 10 weeks, $600, 2 years to get it up to 2,000. Yeah, it's going to take longer. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad way to look at it. It just shows commitment. I'll give you that. But I know when I first started trading, and I traded under Andrew Lockwood, who's a British currency trader. He worked for some major city banks at the London Stock Exchange during the 80s. And he told me 1 to 3%. Even some institutions only trade 0.5 or 0.25%. But I started off going for 2%. Then I heard Daniel mentioning 5% for futures, especially high probability trades because you're winning more. But at the moment with this, I risk about 1%. I always traded 2 contracts for the last 2.5 years doing this. Traded 2 contracts, and it's all great when it's working, but you have a couple of large losses, quite big bars. You can be down $700. That's nearly a third of your pot. You're going to recover. You're going to struggle to recover from that. So I thought if I bring my risk down from what I'm used to 50% less, well, half, 100%, half price. If I'm used to losing $300, $250-$300 on a trade, and that reduced to half, that should have a less of a psychological effect. Ultimately, it's common sense. You risk more, your stress levels go up. Those stress levels start to peak out, and you start to do stupid things. Passing one eval should be done in under a month when it's 90%. Yeah, I agree with you. People have different ways. See, I was surprised when I heard Daniel say he trades max contracts on evaluations. I know he makes an awful lot of money, and he still trades 6 ticks, and he's very strict and very careful on his trade choice. He doesn't take stupid risks, but then he trades 10 contracts on an evaluation. And I think he tries to, 5 trades for 6 ticks in his past. But yeah, ultimately, it's about learning to trade. When you can trade and make some money and hold an account, then if you want to speed the evals up just to get the accounts up and working and paying. Who is Daniel you speak of? Daniel Cushin, he's a trader. I think he's been trading about 5 years now. He's one of the admin guys on the Facebook group, the Pat's Facebook group, and he makes a lot of money. Daniel does. You'll see some of his trades. Max played some of his trades. I think he trades. The last time I saw him trade, he was trading 40 contracts. I believe he trades 100 now, but yeah, if you notice some of the videos that Max shows, you can see his name in the account, so you can tell it's his own private account. And he trades 6 ticks. He used to trade 4, but he trades 6 ticks now, and I've seen him trade 40 contracts. But I think another trader buddy of mine mentioned he was trading 100 contracts. I don't know, but he's just got very, very good discipline, and he's good at filtering out poor trades. So what's going on here? We got a leg down, bit of sideways. Maybe this is a sort of fake out. I don't know. No, I think he was trading his own money, and then he started to add some, because obviously you can trade your own pot and add some evaluations for Apex. So he's, obviously people are talking about earning money from Apex, so he just trades them alongside his own account, makes extra money. So, we had this. I expected to get a bit further back here, but I don't know. There is a possibility. This may come down here now. We'll see. Sorry, guys, but with the attitude that it's cheap to blow. Valuations, Apex has you right where they want. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You should just do online casino games. Yeah, the trouble is, Apex make it cheap, and there lies the problem. If you're not risking a lot, it's very easy to get in there and take a stupid trade. This ATR's come right down now. Now, as we're pushing up, that's usually a good sign as some good continuation movement. So I'll have to say. But we have touch there. Let's have a look. There we go. Yeah, but it is very easy to... The trouble is you can get into gambling and stuff like that. If you're not careful, you can get hooked by that bug. And what I will say as well is when you get a little bit of success and you make some money and you lose it, you almost get into a battle with the market where you just try and beat it. I've done it myself. You trade really angrily out of pure frustration, and you just throw money at it. But trading really is just a process you go through. It's a journey where you have ups and downs. You have good times, bad times, absolutely bloody awful times. But if you stick with it and just keep striving to improve and learn, I think the more you do this, the more you get used to those emotions, and the better you get at not sort of, switching off and going to that fight or flight mode and doing something stupid. Absolutely. Absolutely. You try and battle. You think the market's done, you win. But yeah, ultimately, all you're doing is you're battling yourself, aren't you? You're battling your own demons. But it's just something traders seem to go through. Wise men or bright-eyed youth is easier to sell them shit than tell them the truth. Good point. Good point. It's you against Michael Chin. What I will say is when you watch any of these learning type programs, they all, and they read the books, they all say the market isn't out to get you. But the algorithms, I believe, are designed to weed out weak trades and weak positions. So my argument is they are out to get you. If you take a weak trade here so many times, it'll trigger you and stop you out. But you know what I mean? There's an argument to say there, well, okay, so why would other traders trade down just a point, just to stop me out? But I believe the algorithms, the way they work, weed out weak positions. How true that is, I don't know. But so my argument is the market is out to get you. I would rather say they seek liquidity, yeah, or for an experienced traders, our money. But you go through all that type of fighting and battling and out of pure frustration. I've traded on pure anger and frustration. But ultimately, you all hope you're going to come out the other end. So, yeah, I forget it was Al Brooks said when the ATR is really low, I mean, it hasn't been 1.5 for months. When the ATR is really low and the market's pushing up, it's usually a good sign we're getting lots of little grind. And we're pushing up, getting structure, pushing up, laying down structure. So if you can find the position here, we may get a really good strong move by the end of the day. Let's see how we get on here. So, trouble is, when we get into these small channels and you get a second entry long, you don't know whether we're going to come down and retest this, depending on how close we get. See. Let me just bring that down a second. Leg up, 2 legs are correct. Yeah, see, even that just doesn't look right. What have I done there? Oh. Wrong one. That's better. We touched a bunch of times. Ian touched here. For me, that visually looks like it's fitting the right angle. I would have preferred it to come a bit closer to this, which tells me there's a really strong bias there, isn't there? I am, yes. Yeah, you can see it over the side down here, PA. So, I'd like it to have a break. It does seem to be working in there. The trouble is, there is a possibility that could be like this and that might be a break. So I'm going to have to treat it like that for the time being. It's going okay, Robin. I decided to slow it down and reel myself back down to earth, I suppose. I've always traded 2 contracts, and I have had people say to me in the past 2 things. Reduce your risk, and everything we read about trading that comes from experienced traders say all inexperienced traders risk way too much. That's one thing we hear, and it's a marathon, not a sprint is another thing. And I've always gone for 2. Now I just started to reel it back, and this is day 15, and I'm on $1,225. So what I'll say is, if you can average around about $100 a day on one contract, that's just 2 points. That's $2,000 a month. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you have 10 accounts and all you're doing is taking $2,000 out of each account per month, you're earning $20,000 a month. And we can have up to 20 accounts with Apex. So I think personally, forget 50,000. None of us are trading with $50,000 account. What we're trading with is $2,500 because that's all we've really got to play with. So it's about a 5% risk one contract. Yes, it takes a bit longer, but it's about getting that account up to a nice, comfortable height with enough cushion that you can take a payment, then trade it for a month, and then take a payment. So, I think it's fair to say, even if you get $1,000 or $1,500 per account, you times that by 10, you still start, the money starts to stack up. So you don't need a lot really, but for me, this is the one thing I've changed that's made the difference. This is, as I say, this is day 15. I haven't taken a stupid trade in 15 days, 3 weeks, which is unusual for me, because it's not stressing me out nowhere near as much trading one contract. And the more stress and anxiety you have, the more chance you've got of taking something stupid. I have 225 PAs, not trading it yet, still trying to add a few more PAs. Yeah. Some people do that. They like to build their PAs because if you pay the one-off payment, there's no rush. There's no urgency. But if you're paying $80 a month on each one, then you got 20 accounts, you'd be paying $1,600 a month. There's a sense of urgency there. But I think for me, is I've done the one thing that I've avoided and reduced the risk. But it's common sense, isn't it? If you reduce the risk, you reduce the stress. And if you're not under a massive amount of stress, you've got more chance of not jumping in when those emotions, that stress level gets a bit too strong, because ultimately that's how traders blow accounts. We take a loss. If the loss is large, it has more of an effect on us. If it has a smaller risk, if you're just risking $10, you're not going to revenge trade, are you? But if you were, if you risk $200-300, that might be a different story. Okay, so what's going on now? It's coming down a bit too sharp for me. Might be flushing a few longs out there. Let's see what happens here. Now, this may be where that bigger channel comes in. Let's have a look. Not sure about that yet. I do personally, yeah. If you've managed to get past a month on a PA account, well, it's 30 days, so I'm halfway there now. So you pay, obviously, your fee when you first sign up for the account, and then 30 days later, if you pay the $85, you get charged another $85. So obviously there's $170 there, as opposed to $140 as the one-off payment. But if you're still in, if you're still blowing a lot, you might be better off, just taking the monthly. That's, only you can decide that, what level your trading's at. Those 4 accounts I had the one for 3.5 months, and the other 2 for about 2.5 months. And the trouble is, because I sort of gave up work and traded full time, I had no other income, so I was relying on the income. And I had those 4 PA accounts up to around about $2,400. So I was close to getting a payment. And I really needed the money as well. And I took a loss of about $350, which was quite a big loss. And that gutted me a bit, because I was so close to that payment, because I needed the money, because I'd given up work. And then I took another loss, which then took me down to $700, and then just panic took over, and I ended up blowing it. There was about $10,000 in those 4 accounts that I blew in a matter of an hour. So, those big losses really get those bad juices flowing, and it's very easy to get sucked into that vortex of just jumping in and trying to get it back, and before you know it, that might work, and it might work 1 or 2 times out of 10, but ultimately, as soon as you start that, you're doomed. It's just a matter of time. If you do it once, you'll do it again. So what I try and do is just treat one day at a can, and I try and trade it as best I can. At the end of it, I set my stream up for tomorrow, and I shut down, and I walk away, and I don't come back. And I have that urge to come back, don't get me wrong, but by the following day, I feel refreshed and I'm okay. Yeah. Yeah, mate, I know that Moo guy, I think he was over payment level. Did he have about $3,500 in 20 accounts? That's about $70,000. He was over the pay. I'm pretty sure he said he was over the payment threshold, so he would have had at least $2,600 in each account. That's times 20. That's a lot of money. So I will say, if you're building up, never get more than 1 or 2 PA accounts until you can make them pay. My plan is to get 2, get them up to maybe 6,000-7,000, take $2,000, and then just trade them on a monthly basis, and whatever I make at the end of the month, I pay myself, and that will give me a wage. And then I can use some of that money to build more PAs, and I'll allow them to build up to that safe cushion. But I think ultimately a couple of PAs, if you can get close to $2,000 to withdraw out of each a month, that's $4,000 a month. Considering you're not leaving the house, that's not a bad wage. You can live on that, and as you just trade them normally, take your time, and then obviously build some more up nice and slowly. Yeah, he does strike me as he's got a bit of money, and that's the problem. If you've got money, it's very easy to take risk, isn't it? Yeah. See, I'm not loaded. I wish I was. What's going on here? Are we getting a second entry back to here and a drop, or are we going to push up? See, I'm not even 100% sure whether that channel will end up being extended. It's possible. There's possibly a bigger channel, which means we could have another leg back. So, although that looks like a break of this, and may push higher, just got to take a bit of caution here. That ATR is still quite low, so it may just continue to grind. But I gave up work last Christmas, and I was making enough money to get me by, and I was more focused on just being able to trade the markets 4 hours a day and put as much as I can. And I do some study at night. I watch other people's charts. I compare them to mine. I do all sorts of bits of studying. With this process you have with 20 accounts. With this progress you have with 20 accounts, you're already loaded. No, I've only got... You're not talking about me, are you? I'm going to say I've only got 1, and another one coming in about 5 days. But I think if you can get 2 up to... I kind of like $6,000. If you can get maybe $7,000. If I can get 2 accounts to $7,000, I can withdraw 2 for each. That knocks me down to $5,000. And I'll trade for a month. If I earn $1,500 or $2,000 over the next month, I'll just withdraw that out of both accounts. So at least you've got an income from 2 accounts. And then every time you get a payment, add 3, maybe 3 PAs, and let those build up to the same amount. And eventually you'll get to where you want to be. If you get 20 accounts, oh Christ, absolutely. In fact, if I got 20 accounts, I would split them into 10 and 10. I wouldn't trade them all in one day, because if anything ever goes wrong, or you get a black swan event and the market tanks or something, you just never know. At least you've got half left. So I would tend to split them up just in case. And at the end of the day, if you're taking $2,000 out from 10 accounts, that's $20,000 a month. You'll be able to save some money, and then you'll be able to have your own pot as well, so you can trade that alongside. So once you can get to that level of earning that money, you're clearly where you want to be, and you can, you get to that level, you can just keep climbing as those pots, maybe have a month where you only take half the amount and let the accounts grow. And then you can start extending the contracts, which, will take your profits up even more. But I think if you can get to that level of even making 10 accounts pay, I think you're well on your way to doing really well. Trouble is, we get blinded sometimes with all these stories about all the money you can earn, and, it just, you end up getting into a bit of trouble, don't you? As soon as it doesn't go the way. Yeah, I'm on the fence here as to what's going on. How's any of you guys got this chart? Have you incorporated this or not? I had it like that. In all fairness, it looked okay. But maybe this is a leg and a leg. But this is going a bit sideways, so there could be some traps around here. If anybody's got anything different than that, post it on the Discord. It'd be interesting to see how some of you guys. You can see my chart. See, I can't see any of yours. I've got overshoot on the big channel on this one. Okay, so you've got it about there. Yeah, in fact, I can take that down a touch. Yeah, because it's fitting. In fact, I can go down a bit more. Yeah, it's fitting kind of nice there, isn't it? And that as an overshoot. Trouble is, it may be a bigger channel, so it could continue on up. I have a feeling it may do. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, so you've got it like that then. Yeah, I think that's about fair. Yeah, cheers, bud. I appreciate that. You're rubbing your nice posh red coloured side of it, aren't you? Yeah, I think that's right. I think this is just ranging a bit, really, isn't it? And then we've just had a bit of a breakout, however you want to draw that, sideways and with this. So we may, there may be a bigger channel there, but it's just a bit early days, isn't it? Cheers, Chris. I appreciate that. There's always that possibility it could turn into that. Whether it will or not, it kind of works with the open as well. In which case, it could come down to this side, and obviously we won't know until it does. If indeed it does, you got to be careful going long here and short. A lot of times, though, we'll get these overshoots. We'll come down a bit, make a new high, and then drop. So there is a possible second entry short there. Null got a new face on the. How you doing, buddy? Sorry about that little flapping flying bird. Not very manly. There you go. Leg down, a couple of legs up. It's hard to say. I like the way it's sort of testing this. So. Do you take the risk? Okay, what I will say, you could even wait for the lower high. So we got a leg down, that looks like it. Second entry short. If you're not sure about the trade, you could wait for a lower high. Depends how you've got this, but I think it's fair to assume that's an overshoot, so that's stopping me getting in long here. Seven ticks, that's not a massive risk, that.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Okay, I'm going to take the risk. It's not a huge risk, so we'll see. I think you've got to take into consideration that overshoot. So leg, it is a second entry short. We've sort of retested this, but nothing's set in stone. But I think it's worth a risk. It's 2.25 points, so it's not huge. Uh, 3 points, I think. I might just come up here a touch. Might have a bit of a pullback, but that's okay.
Target filled.
Okay, quick 2 points. I wanted to get out before the bottom here, but it looks like a leg and a leg. Take 2 points. Yeah, I did. Now, a lot of times with these overshoots, I just don't do nothing and wait. But we had an overshoot then. A lot of times we'll then pull down, we'll push up, make a new high, and then drop, and we got a leg down. It is a second entry short. It's right where I like to take them under the EMA, and it's almost like we've come up and retested the bottom of this, so I think that's fair to take then. It does look like a leg and a leg. So it may come down lower, but you just never know. There's always that possibility, and I've just noticed that there may just be a bit of sideways, touched here. That's a possibility as well. The overshoot in a lot of cases can result in a reversal, but this to me looks like quite a strong market, that ATR, so I don't really want to go any lower than that. And the way that's holding there makes me feel like I may have made the better decision. But yeah, it is a bullish day, which is why I'm not sort of holding on, because it could maybe just bounce here a bit and continue up. See, I still think there is a possibility of a bigger channel up there. That's always possible. So I've got different ideas running around my head. So sometimes a couple of points. And that's it. Move on. In all fairness, that's my ideal target for the day, $100 a day. You do that for 20 days, you've made $2,000 a month. That's huge on one contract. If you think you're trading with $2,500 is your... Well, let's think about it. This $50,000 PA I've got, really I've got $2,500. And in 15 days, I'm up... What's that percentage-wise? About 70% profit, something like that. What's that? Yes, it was, Robin, yeah. It was, yeah. I'm up about 60% profit in the last 3 weeks. That's massive. That's massive, really. So, but yeah, first trade of the day. Did I put a second entry short thing here? Oh, there is. Second entry short. It may come down a bit, but it does look it quite be sideways, so it could, if you wait too long, it could pop back up. But I am aware that there may be something larger brewing there. That's a possibility as well. So what I'm going to do is just put it's definitely a bullish day. Now, if it's going to continue up, it may just have a little bit of a correction. So we got something going. 2 legs of correction, and funnily enough, that will take us down to this area here, and then we may continue to pull up. But I did hear Al Brooks say that when you get very slow movement up and the ATR drops, it's a good sign of a good strong market. We're moving up, we're creating foundations, we're moving up, we're creating foundations, and obviously it enables us to bounce back to these levels. Oh, sorry, second entry long, second entry short, isn't it? Yeah, sorry. Sorry, Kev. I'm 54, mate. I'm getting old. You've got to be a bit patient with me. Yeah, so leg down. That would take us to this area, wouldn't it? So maybe we're going to confirm that and pull up and start pushing up. So I like that. I love these corrections when you get these corrections. And usually I wait then for the higher low, and I love taking trades like that. We had one the other day. Beautiful one. Unfortunately, it was the day we had the arrhythmic problem, so I ended up staying out and missed a beautiful trade I would have 100% held. $30. Good on you, mate. I think I'm going to go micros for it tomorrow. $30. So what do you need? Micros. Yeah, you don't need much, do you? $30. I was thinking if you did one contract, 1 point would give you $50. Yeah, take your time, mate. Nothing worse than getting very close. I've done it myself. I got $20 away once, and I was just in that stupid mode of taking risks. And I took another stupid risk trying to get it in 1 tick or a couple of ticks, and it went south on me. So yeah, take your time, make it count. 1 point only on a mini. Yeah, 1 point on a mini. The trouble is, it's only you that really knows how you trade. You know, do you usually trade that level or do you usually trade micro? So yeah, it's only you that can make that decision, really. But what you don't want to do is waste that now you're there. So leg down. Yeah, part of me wanted to hold there, but I did think there may be some sideways. So if it got down and then went out on me, especially as we're sort of coming again, we're going against the grain at the moment here, which I generally, as a rule, don't do. The day's bullish, but on the circumstances like that. Now I've even seen Mac not mark trades like that because he calls it a counter trend trade, but under the circumstances there after the overshoot. I think it's valid to do that, and rightly so. After that overshoot, we pushed that, make a new high, and straight away we broke this channel, and we've had 2 legs down. So it'd be nice to get down to here and then start working again. Yeah, best of luck with that tomorrow, mate. Let us know how you get on. So, copy, paste. Let's put... I'm just putting separate lines here because it confuses the picture, but I'm just seeing where that may go to. We put it there, see, it kind of touches, and it's an overshoot on a bigger channel as well, isn't it? Touch, touch, touch. So it's a bit hard to say. I'm a bit mixed feelings about this, but the way that's looking like a 2-legged correction is telling me it's quite likely going to push higher. I'm expecting it to go. In all fairness, we opened here overnight lows, and ever since then we've been moving up. The ATR's been low, which is usually a good sign. We're having a nice slow grind, and we are pushing up, having a couple of legs back, pushing up, having a couple of legs back, with the exception of this overshoot. But overshoot, push up. Sometimes they'll come straight down, see, but just I think the sign for me that this is a strong bullish market is the way before it came down, it pushed up. And after the overshoot, and as we know, overshoots can result in the reversal. This doesn't look like it's reversing to me. This looks like it's correcting, so I'm thinking we're going to push up a lot higher. We've not been up here for quite a while. Couple of weeks at least, a week or 2, week and a half, something like that, a while. Yeah, I will say, excuse me a second. We've had this strong push up, and we've just had then, sort of with exception this, just a lot of sideways. And now it does look like we may get this other sort of leg up. I'd say to there maybe. So, you know, we could have something like that. It really could go up. And in all fairness, if you take that to that, and this to there, that doesn't come out far off, does it? So leg, sort of, I don't know, one leg, two legs, couple of legs back. It's certainly feasible we could get a lot higher. We're still working down, so that's a good sign. It's very slow though, isn't it? Do you know what I'd say, Clay? I'd sort of embrace that. I like it if I can sit through 3 hours of trading and not take a trade, because that shows you've got a real important part of trading nailed down, the patience and the discipline. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I've got no problems ending the day zero. In fact, I feel quite good about myself because I haven't seen anything valid enough for me to take it, which I like. Now I can micro adjust that. Will it fit? No reason why not. Yeah, it fits off there, so that's as much as I'm prepared to move it. Anything else, then we're coming down. So let's see what happens here. I'm certainly not getting in a long trade here, not a chance. It's going to have to go up quite a bit further, really. I think that might have become a bit too far. I'm not sure about that. Perhaps this is just a reversal. If it comes down lower than this, it might just be a reversal, overshoot new high and then come down. It could just be like a big range day in all fairness. Okay, we'll soon find out anyway. Because of that, there's bound to be some traders taking that. Let's see if that gets stopped out. If it continues to push up, it's a good it's a good sign, unless it goes up and it hits here and creates a second entry short. So as long as this holds on this line, I think we'll go. If not, I can see scrapping the whole bullish stuff and I can see it coming down. It's holding, so that's a good sign. I'm still not taking a second entry short because I think we're in a channel here at the moment. And there is a possibility we could just bounce up to here and create a second entry short and come down. So I'm just letting this play out. I want to wait for it to start to move in that direction really before I get in. It is higher low, I'll grant you that, but to me it almost looks, it does as well look like it's in a potential channel there. So we've had an overshoot. As we know, they can create a reversal, so this just might be part of the reversal. Sometimes it'll just suck in a few longs and then take them all out. Let's see if that triggers. I think we'll know in a second. If that triggers and comes down and stops it out, then I think this downtrend is valid. I don't mind taking them if I've got enough room to the EMA. But yeah, I'm not getting involved until it at least starts to get up to here. I've been trapped here so many times in the past. I just let it sort itself out. Now, that might be a higher low and it may continue to work high, but it's also quite likely a channel. And if you can identify this, and you know, this is telling me mixed feelings. There's a bigger channel possibly working there, but there's a channel working down here. And as we know, we've had an overshoot. We know overshoots can result in the reversal. So I'm a bit on the fence here. So I'm just letting this sort itself out because it could be sucking in. We've seen it do it. It sucks in buyers. People think, oh, it hasn't come down, it's held. Let's jump in. And I see it do that quite a bit. We get a bullish bar and another bullish bar, one tick higher. And some people think, okay, well, it hasn't stopped that one out. Let's jump in now. And then down it comes. I've seen that happen quite a few times, so I'm always aware of it now. And I think that's part of, you know, they talk about screen time. You start to notice these things and it just helps you make better decisions. So it could do either or here, but touch, 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 touch. So there is a possibility. It definitely fits in there. So after the overshoot, that could be valid as well. So I got mixed messages here, so I'm just staying out. I'm just going to sit here and count my millions. But yeah, absolutely, Clay. It speaks volumes, that, mate, about your patience. If you can do that for 3 hours and sit there, then you've definitely produced the goods. As I say, if I haven't taken a trade and I've sat here for 4 hours, I usually feel pretty good in the evening, I do. Yeah, it's trying to push it long, but it's struggling, isn't it? I will say if it breaks this and this, I can see it coming down with some vengeance. Yeah, so if you're in that trade now, you'd be pretty nervous, wouldn't you? I've got to say, there's nothing worse than being in a trade. As soon as it ticks, it starts to come down. It's bloody horrible. Do you know one thing I am monitoring now is when it starts to turn like that, how many times it eventually stops me out? Because if I start to understand or start to say that to me is turning and it's going to come and get me, if I can work out that it's doing that 8 times out of 10, sometimes I'm better off just to cancelling the trade as soon as it starts to do that, and maybe only lose half. That's something else I'm looking into. Because usually you can usually tell, or I can usually tell if I've made a bad choice just the way the next bar reacts. And I know in some cases it will come up and tick the same as that and come down, but it's quite rare that. So if I've gone long there, I'm just trying to think, you know, and yeah, it may continue on higher, but if it takes you out for say 2 points and you only jump out at a point, you've only lost half the amount. So you do that 3 times and get it right, you've not lost. You have your EMA set up on each tick or bar close. That's a good question, mate, actually. Let's have a little look. Can you see that from there? Can you, Kev? I've never been asked that before, mate. I don't even know, to be honest with you. Who knows? Let's have a look. Each tick. Is that relevant, is it? Where does it say that? Each tick. Ticks. Is that how you have it, or is that everybody else has it? I don't know, mate. It's something I've never even heard anybody mention. It moves a bit more than mine. Okay, that's why I asked. You're incidentally, how does everybody else have that? Does anybody else have their EMA set to each tick? Never even thought about that, mate. Never even heard it before. You each tick as well. Okay. On each tick. Excellent. I'm doing something right then. I don't even know why, but may just come as it. It may come pre-selected, isn't it? I don't know. If Mac has it on each tick, that's what I want to do. I don't even know if Mac has it on each tick, does he? Does he ever talk about that, his settings, does he? I'm not aware of he's ever talked about them. Okay, we've actually pushed a bit higher from these. I mean, it's on his package, isn't it? Not that I'm aware of, mate. I've never heard him. I think I've watched most of the videos. I've never seen him mention it. I've got the manual as well. Is it in there? I don't know. It's been a while since I've read it. I don't know. Well, at least I've got it the same as you guys anyway, so that'll do me. Okay, could be a couple of legs here and then down some more. A lot of times in the past, I've taken trades here and gone long thinking we're pushing up. And what's happened, because of this downtrend, it's just had a break in a new low and it stops you out. Your indicator is part of... Yeah, it is, yeah. So I'm assuming it's pre-selected, is it? It is max. It's this max thing here. So perhaps it comes pre-selected. I suppose so. Okay, we've got one leg up, two legs up, and it stopped at the EMA's flat. Now, it could still continue on up. If it does continue on up, I think it is a pretty strong day. But I've got into trades like that before thinking, oh yeah, we're working up, and you take that and it ticks you, triggers you, comes down, stops you out, makes a new low from this channel. Assuming you use it the same. Yeah, I suppose he will do. He doesn't talk much about settings. He's not a very techie guy, Mac. I've heard him say he's had computer problems and he has to get someone to come out and sort it out for him, so he's not very techie. So that's probably why he doesn't talk about it. So let's see what happens here. Maybe that's going to encourage a few longs in there, so let's see what happens here. Because it is like two legs, that could almost be a visual second entry, or yeah, just a visual second entry short. Let's see. Another attempt down before, yeah. If it does continue up, then I think it is a strong market, isn't it? It's a strong bullish market, but I never get involved in these when we have something like that, because I've taken them before and thinking, yeah, here we go, we're pushed up above the EMA, lovely. What happens? It triggers you, come there out. See what I mean? So if you're thinking there's, you know, we're thinking, let's give it time to start to push up. Excellent. There we go. We're above the EMA. Brilliant. What happens? Triggers you, comes down, stops you out. So you think you're going long, and then you've missed that. So whenever I get anything like that that looks like a channel, I always wait. Second entry long 10k chart. Yeah, trouble is if you look at the 10k chart, it gives you a bigger picture, but this could do a lot. You just use it really just for a bit of a look. But if you're trading the 10,000 tick chart, then it's okay to take bars like that. But the trouble is, if you think that, and you may decide to jump in here, you never quite know. I just use the 10,000 tick chart just to sort of give me a broader picture of what's going on. Yeah, exactly. You trade the 10,000 tick chart, risks bigger, profits are bigger. I suppose you could reduce to micros. So that is a visual second entry short. That's triggered. Now, there's always a possibility that could go up and get stopped out as well. So you just don't know what's going on here. You can have traders thinking long, traders thinking short. I like that trade you took, expecting a second leg down. Wish I took it. Do you know what, mate? I saw that appear so many times, I leave them. Although it looked like a really nice trade, because I'm thinking I'm looking for long, so sometimes it upsets my mindset. So I said to myself, next time I see one of those, I'm going to take it. Now, sometimes trades, there are risks. There's always risks in trades. But, a lot of the times when you see these overshoots, I saw Mac took a failure short. Now, you'll hear Mac say, and he'll say, never counter trend trade, but because of the overshoot creates, a move in the opposite direction. Now, sometimes it'll be a complete reversal. It obviously depends on, the structure of the market, how strong the buying is. In this case, it's not come down as quick as it may have done, but I've seen Mac take failure, so I thought, yeah, I might have a go at one of those myself. And in all fairness, it is a perfect little second entry short, really. It's two lovely little legs. The only thing that put me off that is it wasn't long, it was short. There you go, see. So this overshoot, if you see an overshoot, just take it in mind, it might not do what you would normally expect it to do. So I guarantee you there'll have been some longs there. There will have been some longs there thinking we're going to have a good strong push up. And what's happened? Woof, down it's dropped. So I always don't get involved in them anymore. And if you start doing that, you'll lose less trades. And that's what it's all about. It's not just about winning trades. It's about not getting into losing trades or risky trades, because obviously that's where a lot of your money goes. But yeah, it's nice that, isn't it, really, in all fairness? It's very clear. And usually you can tell how good a trade is by how the market reacts to it, and it clearly came down nice and strong. So with the exception, with the overshoot happening, straight away I'm thinking don't take longs at the moment. And then when I saw that, I thought, yeah, well, I'll take a gamble. It wasn't a massive risk in all fairness, which is part of another reason. If it had been a lot bigger bar, I wouldn't have done. But a tick below and a tick above, a little bit more actually. It was about 2.2 points, I think, which is not a bad risk at the moment in the grand scheme of things. So it was just under 1-to-1 there. I could have waited, but there's always that possibility. We're touching here, seeing here. There's always a possibility it may bounce there, and I got out if I remember quite. Yeah, a tick or two from the lows. You never know. See, it could be like 1-2. It could be a triple test and push up. So I'm happy with 2 points. My overall my trades on my equity curve average a fraction over 2 points. I think it's 2.2 points. Obviously, some you take 6 ticks to, some you go for 3 or 4 points. So it averages out over 2 points, which is about where I want to be. So that channel's had a break now in a new low. Now it's pushing up again. Now, I'm just not getting involved here, because if there is a bigger channel, straight away we've had a break of it. We've bounced off there and we look like we're testing the bottom. So I have a feeling now it may just continue down. It may, it is possible it may come back part of the way and then continue on up. So where are we at the moment? Just above that 50% line. Actually, that can come down a bit. Yeah. So leg up. It may be a couple of legs and then some more. Who knows? But we'll see. So leg down. One attempt to go higher. Second attempt to go higher. You know, Clay, that might be one for you. That's a leg down, isn't it? First attempt to go higher. Second attempt to go higher. That might be a penguin trade. In fact, I think it is, especially after the overshoot and we're coming down. So we've definitely got to move down. One attempt to go higher. Second attempt to go higher. If that ends up bearish, I'm not taking it, but I'm just going to monitor it. But I think that might be a penguin trade. I like the fact we're sort of retesting under this line where there's been a little bit of support. So let's see if this works. I'm not going to take it. I'm just going to mark it. It is just below the EMA. So now, would he take it there or would he let it move a bit? Because it's a very small bar. In fact, he may do that 1 to 2. Let's have a look. So I don't know whether he may push it down a bit, but it made a new low. See, I didn't think that mattered. Who did I ask about that? If it's made a new low, does it matter? We'll soon find out. Well, it just because it doesn't work doesn't mean I was right anyway. But okay, I thought it had. It's a DT as well. I don't think so. Okay, fair enough. Glad I didn't take it then. Yeah, I tend to monitor these, and when I can get them right 80% of the time, then I might start taking them, because it's always and if that is a bad trade, it'll get stopped out. It's good to sort of have extra strings to your bow, put it that way. If you can sort of see a certain, some of his trades are really clear and others are quite complicated, but even if you can see some of these, then it might just give you an extra little trade you can take from time to time. But it's not coming down as much as I thought. So I may get stopped out. I'll tell you what, as I'm not taking a trade, let's maybe stop a bit wide. One more leg down and then close above the ear. Be looking for a long, will you? Yeah, see, the trouble is, if I'm looking for a long again after this, I want to see 2 clear legs of correction. Okay, so when you're saying leg down, you mean something like this, do you? Something like that. That size leg. And is that come too far to push up again? Not really. There's no sort of rules there, is there? Oh, crikey, what time is it? I'm going to have to go. What time is it? How long have we been going? Just above the overnight. Right. Okay, so yeah, you're talking around about down here, aren't you? What time? How long have we been going? 3 hours and... What time is it? 3 hours. Okay. More posted there. Yeah, okay. I'm going to knock on the head in 5 minutes anyway. I'm cooking tonight. Spinach, bacon, mushroom, pesto and spinach salad. So I'm going to be starting to get messages. I thought you were cooking tea, Dad. Okay, sort of lower high there. Let's see if they trigger. I've not seen a setup I really like yet. There was one below. See quick if it goes up. Yeah. What do you think of that one, bud? The second entry short. Let's have a look. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got you. So you're looking for another leg up then, yeah? Oh, leg down. Hold on a minute. Leg down to go. Oh, right. Yeah. Leg down to go up. I got you. Okay, so I'd have lost there anyway. That's classic. Yeah, it does look like a textbook second entry short, doesn't it? My only slight gripe with it is I generally don't counter trend trade, but I do see a lot of good setups that I miss. And the reason I allowed myself to take that was because of the overshoot, where he came down, had a quick push up and dropped suddenly. So that I like. The link is in Lance's description. Oh, for the Discord, yeah. If you should go to the description and click on it, it'll allow you in. I just did this so people could, swap. Like I say, you guys can see mine. I can't see yours. So Clay's just dropped his in. Okay, possible second entry short. It's just congested, in my opinion. There is a failure there, actually. There's a second entry short there, which is triggered. So that may push up, but the EMA is flat as a pancake, so... there we go. Hello, Robin. Who else? There we go. 2 little waving birds for you. Sorry they're not more manly. Okay, so we're coming down from here. I think we are coming down. The reason being is because we have had some real tries to push up and we're just struggling. So I think that may work, but I'm not taking it because EMA's flat and it is congested. But I would say that is more likely to go down than up. Yeah, I agree with you either way. I'd say it's more likely to come down because of the overshoot. We've had this strong push down and we have had one push up and another. So I'd say it's more likely to come down, but I'm not prepared to trade it because I'm not confident enough. Your name is Robin. Got you. So yeah, it has. I mean, there's a potential. You may have taken that long, which is triggered you. Well, I hope you'd have got out actually. But the way this is coming down, I wouldn't be surprised if it took them out. And if it does, I can see it coming down some more. But we have had this channel down and we've had a break. We have had to make a new low, but we have made a couple of other attempts to go higher. So, yeah, I think it's more likely going to come down, but I'm on the fence here. I'm not taking a trade. I'm just sitting there. Maybe something bigger is possible. There is sort of a couple of legs, isn't there? But it might suck shorts in there and then turn, so who knows. Anyway, I'm going to knock it on the head today, folks. So 2 points up. I'm pleased with that. $100 on this account. So I'm about $180 under $1,500 on this in 15 days. So it's working nice, actually. It's working to plan. You're welcome, Chris, anytime. So not a bad day today. A bit of a slow grinding day, but not a huge amount of setups. But that was quite a nice little second entry short there. But I'll be surprised if most traders didn't take that. And obviously how it reacted is a good indication of the trade itself. You're welcome, Robin, anytime. So far so good. But I definitely, for you guys who are still on 2 contracts on your $50,000, and I argued the toss with it for a year or so that I ain't changing, I'm sticking, it's going to take forever. But at some point I had to ask myself, okay, I am trading 2 contracts, but the stress is getting to me and I'm blowing account after account, so I've either got to bite my lip and make the right decision. But since I dropped down, I haven't done anything stupid. I haven't, taken any stupid trades, and I'm generally, I've had 2 losing days and I've walked away. So the decisions I'm making are better, and they're less fueled by emotions, and it makes sense. Less risk, less emotions. It comes with the territory, doesn't it? If you go out and watch horses for the day and you bet $200 on a horse, you'll be pretty nervous, aren't you? You bet $20, you can walk away, can't you, and just let it carry on. So it's working for me anyway. So if you are struggling and you're still blowing accounts, maybe think about reducing your risk, and it may help. So that's me done for the day. Don't forget the 90% off finishes midnight Eastern time tonight. I'm hoping that they extend it. Reason being is last time they had a problem with Rhythmic and loads of people got screwed, they extended it. As like a little, a little thank you for patience. So it would be nice if they do that. Anyway, my code's down there. If you use it or you have used it, it's appreciated. So that's it. You take it easy, Clay. Osam, have a good mate. 9th floor, you're welcome. So I'll be back here, where are we? Wednesday tomorrow, aren't we? Wednesday, yeah. Okay, so right, have a great evening. If you're carrying on trading, best of luck. Apart from that, stay safe, and I will see you all same time tomorrow. Bye for now.